Welcome to Wellness at the River, where faith meets fitness and healing flows freely. Brought to you by the Health and Wellness Taskforce of the Lowe River United Church. We're here to build awareness, strengthen bodies, renew minds, and restore souls. Each episode, we explore practical ways to care for the temple God has given us. One step, one breath, and one blessing at a time. So take a deep breath and let's journey to wholeness together.
Good day, everyone. I'm Dr. Latricia Blake, and I'm the Cancer Coordinator for Trelawney. This month, April 2025, we celebrate Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and the theme is We Can Prevent Cervical Cancer. Now, what is cervical cancer? Cervical cancer is the abnormal growth of cells in the cervix. And where is the cervix? The cervix is that area between the uterus which connects the vagina to the uterus. Now, anytime there is any symptom of cervical cancer, we want persons to be aware of the signs and symptoms. But what are these signs and symptoms? Now, there might be bleeding after menopause, that's one. There might also be bleeding in between your periods. And there might also be spotting, bleeding, or pain after sexual intercourse. Persons may also experience lower abdominal pain. Now, these are not the only signs and symptoms of cervical cancer. You rarely might find persons with untreated sexual transmitted infections that would have shown up with a positive pap smear test. Now, what are some of the tests that we normally do for cervical cancer? The main test for cervical cancer screening is the pap smear. What does this entail? It entails your healthcare provider, which is usually a nurse or the doctor, taking a sample from the cervix, smearing it on a glass slide and sending it to the lab for testing. Now, the results may come back as being normal. They may come back as having some form of infection, or they may come back as having an abnormal growth of cells, which could be cancerous or precancerous. Now, in terms of what is the way forward after the results come back as cancerous, not to worry, but there are treatment options for cervical cancer. The main treatment options are normally chemotherapy, which is medications that are given through the veins, or tablets to help destroy or burn or kill the cancer cells in the body, especially in the cervix. Now, there may also be radiation therapy, that is radiation treatment that is given to burn or to kill the cancer cells in the cervix. If there is spread, they might get both radiation and chemotherapy. And we want to ensure that screening is done as early as possible to prevent the spread of the cervical cancer. What ages do we screen or test for cervical cancer? We normally recommend women between the ages of 21 to 64 years old to be tested for cervical cancer. And so, if this person is an average risk person, then they will be tested for cervical cancer or do their pap smear test every 3 years. If the person is at a high risk of cervical cancer, meaning they have an immunocompromised state, or, for example, if they have HIV, that is the immunocompromised state, or they might have an autoimmune disease such as lupus that weakens the immune system, they may need to do their pap smears every year. Persons with these illnesses are at a very high risk of getting cervical cancer. There are methods in which we can prevent cervical cancer, and one of the main methods is through HPV vaccination. Now, the HPV or the human papilloma virus is the main cause or one of the main causes of cervical cancer. Now, if we are to vaccinate persons, we would want to vaccinate them as early as possible. Hence, the recommendation is that boys between the ages of 9 to 14 years old will get 1 dose of the HPV vaccine, while girls 9 to 14 years old will also get 1 dose of the HPV vaccine. However, girls between the ages of 15 to 24 years old or 15 to 26 years old will get 2 doses of the HPV vaccine, while children who are immunocompromised, for example, children with HIV, will need to get 3 doses of the HPV vaccine. It is very important to note that cervical cancer is the 3rd most common type of cancers in women, in Jamaican women that is, and though it is the 3rd most common type of cancer, it is the 2nd leading cause of cancer-related deaths among Jamaican women. It is therefore very treatable and preventable. So, as we go throughout the month of April, let us encourage each other to have pap smears done throughout the month of April and beyond. It is done every 3 years for average risk women and every year for high risk women. You can visit your nearest health centers to get your pap smears done, or talk to your healthcare provider about getting your pap smears done today. The Ministry of Health and Wellness also has information on their website about cervical cancer screening. You can also talk to your family members about histories of cancers in the family so that you will know your risk and have your screening test done. Have a wonderful month and be aware that we can prevent cervical cancer. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Wellness at the River. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the blessing with someone you love. Until next time, stay faithful, stay strong, stay well, body, mind, and spirit.